play this game now. To give a proper introduction to Gravity Rush 2, let me start off by talking about the original Gravity Rush. Ever since I bought a PlayStation Vita in early 2014, Gravity Rush was one of the few games that really struck my curiosity. I heard many great things about it, but I was hesitant on playing it due to the Japanese nature and influence of the game. Finally, in 2016, I downloaded the demo on the PlayStation Store because why not, and based off that 20-minute demo alone, it was some of the most fun I had ever had on the PlayStation Vita. I still didn't buy it for over a year due to the $20 price tag, but I eventually bought it in April at a flea market for $7. I started Gravity Rush the next day, and beat it less than a week. Throughout the vastness of the titles that I've played on the PlayStation Vita, Gravity Rush is my favorite game on it. It had unique gameplay, and like any game I've played before, it had an amazing cast of characters, and a fun story that surprised me around every corner. So a few weeks later on my birthday, I bought Gravity Rush 2 for $60. Now I know $60 doesn't sound like a major milestone or anything, but I barely spent $60 on a game. The only game I've spent $60 on before was Uncharted 4, so a game has to really be promising for me to do that. Now let me tell you why I believe Gravity Rush 2 is the game you need to own on the PlayStation 4. Gravity Rush 2 is an accomplishment. It builds off the original game in every way possible. I'm not exaggerating. Every nitpick I had for the original Gravity Rush has been fixed here, but I'll talk about Gravity Rush 2 without the original in mind for a while. Gravity Rush 2 once again allows you to manipulate gravity to your wishes, even making traversal in this game a fun activity to do in its own right. Cat can perform standard combat such as kicks, punches, and evading attacks, which sometimes the game will limit you to in certain scenarios, but the combat is best when using gravity. Cat has the ability to pick up objects within her power's reach with her stasis field, and can even throw them at enemies. Heck, she can even pick up and throw enemies with her stasis field. She also has attacks such as the gravity kick, allowing her to kick from mid-air, and special moves which allow her to hit enemies constantly in a row after performing a combo. There are different styles of gravity too, such as Lunar, which allows lighter but faster attacks, and Jupiter, which allows stronger but slower attacks. Unlike the original, I feel like I'm actually somewhere in Gravity Rush 2's open world. There are cities dedicated to the lower class, middle class, and upper class, and the environment around them express the nature of their wealth. The lower class city looks dark, broke down, and the people look like they're struggling to live day-to-day life. The middle class is a colorful, regular city with markets, entertainers, and citizens walking the streets. The upper class is a bright, desolate area decorated with expensive scenery and features stuck-up citizens. Each city has its own dedicated music, which adds to the legitimacy of these areas. Not to mention that the music in Gravity Rush 2 is some of the finest music I've ever heard in a video game. If you're worried by the fact that this is a sequel and that you need to play the first game, don't worry. There's a link in the description that features a video that summarizes the story of the first game. Though if you'd rather play the first game, it would be wise to seek a copy of the PlayStation Vita version, or digitally download the PS4 remaster of the first game, because the cost of the physical copy of the remaster is ridiculous. The story of Gravity Rush 2 begins after the first game, and while I won't speak about major details, I'll tell you what to expect out of the story. You reunite with many old faces from the original game, while meeting many new important characters. There is a 1-to-1, 100% recreation of the original game's entire open world, and you get to find out about Cat's origins. Gravity Rush 2's campaign is 28 episodes long, and overall will take the average player around 13 to 14 hours to complete. During the campaign, I've saw some of the best gameplay I've ever experienced from the medium. Amazing narrative unfold before my eyes, some of the most fun I've ever had in a game, and intensity that made me unsure if I wanted to see what happens next in the story. Aside from the campaign, there are 13 challenge missions, which are time trials that take place around the open world that feature challenges such as races and defeating enemies. Then there are about 40 side quests, which are about as long as an episode each. They tend to feature scenarios with various people you see around the open world, or characters you know. Each side quest isn't useless, they are great for character development, usually have a lesson to be learned, and are just as fun as the episodes. And actually, all the gameplay from this video are from the side quests because I don't want to spoil any story content. In this video, I've tried to be vague about specific details about story events and characters, because I don't want to spoil a single surprise that awaits in Gravity Rush 2. This game, although it isn't revolutionary, I believe it belongs on the shelf of all PS4 users. When it comes down to it, I've discovered the treasure of Henry Avery, saved Planet Veldin, got my butt whooped in Bloodborne, delivered my message to the sun, fought robotic animals, and experienced a heartwarming tale about friendship and trust on the PlayStation 4. But not one of those experiences hold a candle to Gravity Rush 2 based on the fun factor. And that's the whole point, right? Most people who play video games play them to escape their reality and to have a good time. While it's alright to play a video game that's emotionally taxing every so often, Many game developers forget that video games were founded on having pure fun. Too many devs are primarily focused on telling deep stories, featuring drab environments in the game's world, and all too familiar gameplay. Gravity Rush 2, on the other hand, tells a light personal story with vivid cities and interesting locales, with gameplay that's like no other game. It's exciting, new, different, and most of all, fun.